Hello, hello. I'm back at writing in my book. And as I'm going through some papers, look what I found. I did mention it in one of my chapters, previous chapter. Hey, I apologize for the nice fancy dress I'm in Sudan. I was at the pool all day today. Beautiful day. So I did mention this on my one of my previous chapter, but going through the moving boxes, I actually found probably you can read it backwards, helpful eating at restaurant tips, 1985. I'll read it to you. Based on the response to a November 1985 survey of big county restaurants, the following chart will help you choose helpful food choices when eating away from home. So 1985, Vanessa was 5, Marco was 7. We had Nino's for 4 years. I have been a vegetarian all my life. I was concerned about what I ate. Mostly because my dad pretty much brainwashed me that not eating meat or fish, I would have been sick all my life and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so I discovered a new love in my life, which was to know about nutrition. And then when I had my children, I was concerned with what they were eating. So I took it upon myself to pay attention and expose them to what I thought was healthy based on what I was reading and what I was studying, listening, and learning on my own. So that was the time when the 2-for-1 restaurants became so popular in Bay City, Bay County, that some days we only had 2 customers. Oh my gosh, you cannot pay $2,000 a month mortgage payment with 10% interest based on a down payment on the mortgage of your house with a prime of, I don't remember if it was 21 or 23. There was no way we could make that payment at all. So we had to get out of the restaurant business. That's when the big push on my part came along, where I say, okay, now I'm going to start applying the nutritional value of food into some of the recipes and create a whole new image of the restaurant in order to attract different kind of clientele. And that beside the fact that I wanted to improve my children's health and give them the best I could, that was my big motivator. So the hospital down the street sent me a letter. Do you use margarine? No. Do you use this? No. Do you use skim milk? No. So I did not qualify. Out of the question, out of the picture, I was okay for a pizza place, but I was not okay for a dining restaurant. So I got hold of someone. Back then I did not know the English language the way I do now, the way I did learn after that. That was probably one of the motivators. So I said, what do I do to be included? I mean, here's my Uncle Sal. He had, I don't know how many heart attacks. They put a 19-year-old heart transplanted in his body in order to give him, I think it was at least 10 more years of quality of life. He was a newborn individual. And he was, I believe at that time, was the longest living with somebody else's heart transplanted in him. And they restricted his diet so much. I remember he was only allowed to eat egg whites. It was only allowed to eat without salt, and a lot of restriction, which I did not agree with. But of course, my knowledge of nutrition was just based on my personal reading things, not on school academy program. So they told me that in order to be included in the list, I had to offer margarine, I had to offer skim milk, I had to offer some of the stuff I didn't have. No extra virgin olive oil to an Italian person. So because I did not give up the butter and I did not give up the extra virgin olive oil, but I give people in our clientele a choice. Like we did give them a choice. We were getting a liquor license in 1983, and I gave them a choice. What would you like us to have on tap? This beer, this beer, this beer, this beer, this beer. So we did exactly what they suggested we would do, and that's what built the relationship with our clientele. So I'm going to give you just a list of the people, of the restaurants in Bay County in 1985 that comply with that. Angelo's Restaurant, which was my uncle's on Washington Avenue. Annie's and Wilder, Burger Tavern on West Side Saginaw Road, Bonanza on Pine, Breast Lantern, Northwater, Charles, Tuscola, Crossroads Inn, Alco Calling, Elias Brothers on Euclid, Elias Brothers on Center Avenue, Fireside Lounge on North Euclid, Gabby's East John, Gazebo 206 Center, Guerras 103 South Huron, Grandmas and Grandpas on Madison, Grandpa Tony's on Columbus, Green Hills M13 at the Fields, Old Bridge Road, Holiday Inn, Saginaw Street, House of Ving, Euclid, Jen's Place, North Johnson, Creeshack's House, Michigan Avenue, Lindenhof, North Euclid, Linwood Corner, North Huron, Michigan House, Delta Road, Ming Tree, Center Avenue, I believe it was at the Hampton Mall, Nino's on Columbus, they changed names, O Sole Mio, Saginaw, on Saginaw Street, Paddock, Ponderosa on Euclid, Ponderosa on Center Avenue, Regal House, Lafayette, Rivertown, South Huron, Serendipity, Salzburg, State Lunch on 3rd, Texan on Center, Texan on Euclid, Turkey Roost on Huron, South Huron, Wagner Steakhouse, White's, North Euclid. Anyway, my concern was to give my children the best I could. I did not agree with the soda. I did not agree with the soft drinks. I don't like soft drinks. I never did. And as I was reading all these additives, the yellow number 5, and then the red number whatever, was like, to read the side effects of that was kind of disappointing to me. And I was always hoping that my kids did not get hooked on that. And I did my best to do that. So what I did is I started cutting the pieces of newspaper or books or magazines where I was getting the information, and I started scotch taping it on an agenda that my mom would save for me every year from our insurance company in Italy, and I will tape it. My kids didn't know how to read back then, but I figured that's going to be the first book from Mama on what you put in you, because what you put in you is what makes you think or not think, what makes you feel or not feel, what makes you go along with certain things or not go along with certain things. And I'm talking 1985, but I was able to offer an alternative to our clientele in order to please them, the hospital, and us. But I always felt as I was cheating them. But I was able to offer, would you like fresh cooked mushroom? Would you like butter or margarine? Would you like extra virgin olive oil? And that was the beginning of personal relation with our clientele. Thank you. That goes on my book.